Hi, my name is Safa. I am a Muslim woman.
Hi, my name is Daniel. I am a member of the Jewish faith. I consider myself modern Orthodox.
Yes. So my name is Saeko Yazaki. As the majority of Japanese would say, I don't feel I belong to any particular religion, but at the same time, I practice all sorts of religious traditions in Japan, and probably because Japanese religion is based on practice rather than individual faith. So we perform a lot of things, but from Shinto, Buddhism, Taoism, the Yin Yang theory, lots of traditions.
I'm Sukhcharan Kaur and I represent Sikhs in Scotland, and I'm here today on behalf of the Sikh faith.
My name's Karl Kaliski. I practice in the Zen Buddhist tradition. I'm the teacher at the Water Zen Centre here in Glasgow.
I'm a Muslim woman who chooses to wear the headscarf or the hijab. For me, the hijab isn't just a headscarf though, it's about how you present yourself, including what you wear. So it could be loose clothing, covering everything except your hands, face and feet, but also how you present yourself. There's a whole inner dimension to hijab that many aren't aware of, which means to act modestly, present yourself with humility and dignity as well.
I'm wearing this as a kippah. It's also known as a yarmulke or a koppel. I refer to it as a kippah myself. Its significance in our tradition is typically in the Orthodox Jewish world, men will wear this sort of head covering in different forms. Generally, they're worn all the time except when we sleep. Some people wear them only when they go and pray. The reason behind it is it's essentially a reminder that God is above and that God oversees everything in this world. But I also see it as kind of a sense of identity. Just like somebody may wear a t-shirt with a particular rock band on it, I wear the kippah to associate my connection with the Jewish faith and God. Yeah.
What I'm wearing is called kimono, which means just literally a thing to wear. In Japanese, we also call it waso or wafuku compared to Western clothing, like meaning just Japanese clothing. And kimono is worn from everyday life level to some rituals and ceremonies and festivals. But probably the most important thing is the way we wear kimono. It has to be always the left side is over the right side. If you wear it on the other way around, which means you're dead. So it's very important how you wear that. And also the pattern of kimono and the material and fabric is also very important because it has to reflect the seasonal changing, and that sensitivity towards the change of season is very important in Japanese culture, religion and tradition and literature. So in a way, like everything represents or reflects the history and tradition in Japan.
So the origins of the Rakusu really go back to the time of the Buddha himself in India. So if you wanted to become a monk, at the time of the Buddha, you would go to the burial grounds and you would find old clothes, discarded clothes, and you would take them, wash them and dye them, and then you would stitch them together to make your Buddhist robes. Okay? Now as Buddhism spread, it moved into China, where Zen really got started. And at certain times in the history of Chinese Zen, there were periods when the monks were persecuted and forced to disrobe. So not being able to wear their full Buddhist robes, they fashioned this abbreviated robe, as I say, that we call the Rakusu, and they would wear it under their lay clothes to remind themselves that they were still, in fact, Buddhist monks. Okay, so one or two features of the Rakusu. Well, the first thing you can see is that it retains this patchwork pattern, which represents these Buddhist robes that I mentioned before. It also has this wooden ring which holds the straps together. Now a circle, or you may have seen this calligraphy circle, which in Zen is called an enso. It symbolizes our true nature. And on the back of the collar, you'll see there's this stitching. Now this represents an animal, it represents a turtle, and the kind of symbolism of this is really that a turtle carries its home on its back, so in a sense it is always at home.
I'm an initiated Sikh. Initiation means a baptized Sikh, and my clothing today represents a baptized Sikh. My turban is a Sikh identity as well. I mentioned the 5 Ks. The hair is our long hair, which gives us energy. So as we are born in natural form, we don't remove any part of our hair. Our kanga, which is a wooden comb, as we comb our hair, it gives us energy. Our iron bangle shows respect, as it's like handcuffs given to us by God, that we don't perform the wrong deed. So whenever we're going to do something wrong, our iron bangle would fall in front of us, so we perform the correct deeds and not the wrong deeds. Our kirpan, the small sword, has 2 meanings, and kirpan, if we split the 2 words, kirpa would mean grace and an would mean honour. We also have the undergarment, which is a white shorts, which is the knot of the Guru. When I'm in traditional clothing, I feel more spiritual and connected to God, and it helps my inner self as well focus.
For me, the headscarf is an act of devotion to God. Islam means to submit, and for me, wearing the headscarf is a symbol of that, a submission to God. That is the first and foremost reason why I wear it. Secondly, I find it very liberating. There's a lot of societal pressure to look a certain way, and I feel when I wear the headscarf, I'm rejecting some of that pressure to act or behave in a certain way, and instead my heart is on display rather than my outer appearance.
I think generally it makes me feel proud to be part of something bigger. The sense of community, I can travel around the world and find local Jewish communities, put on the kippah and feel instantly connected. People will recognize me and bring me in. So that sense of community is very strong. On the flip side, it also can bring sort of a scary kind of feel depending on where I'm traveling. It's a sort of an identity that I'm Jewish, and obviously there is negative thoughts, there's anti-Semitism in the world, so it can actually bring a lot of fear as well. But I try to push that aside and see it only as a positive sign and a connection to my community.
Because I've been here for 15 years, and for my friends in Japan, I may be a bit too Europeanized, but I feel more Japanese if I wear kimono. But not only that, as I said, because kimono has to reflect the season, I feel kind of more connected to the outside world. So it's not only about my taste, what I would like to wear, there's also kind of connection to nature and to the season, and it's a very seasonal thing. So that kind of connection I really like. And also the way I move is quite different from the way I move when I'm wearing Western clothes. So that also makes me feel kind of more connection to the history and tradition of my home country.
Well, obviously, if you're practicing Zen meditation, the idea is not to be, stuck in memories or thoughts about anything other than the present moment. But at the same time, you are aware on some level that you're wearing this garment, which you've had for a long time, and you've sat through many intensive retreats and all that involves.
I came here today just to try and get an understanding of why people wear the type of clothes that they wear and their religious beliefs. But I got such a lot from it. I just really loved it. It was great. It was different when I came in from what I was expecting. There were tables laid out. I wasn't expecting it to be that way, and that we were told what table to come to, and then to move around the room. That meant that we got a chance to get to know the little group that we were part of, so that when we went to all of the different speakers to learn about their clothes and what they wore, we were we were a group of friends almost, rather than a group of strangers, and that had come about in such a short time. But I really loved the way that everyone that was wearing something, they were doing it for their love of God and to show their devotion, and it was just a really great event.
It was an interesting day because I did learn quite a bit about some of the religious dress from the various religious traditions, and actually also being able to make some connections between them, why some things are done, and even with my own religion, which I wasn't expecting, to find connections between some of the modes of religious dress.
And it was really interesting all the kind of similarities that you see between these different religions and different beliefs, and then sort of similarities of the hair and the head being sort of tied to deities and sort of sacred ideas of kind of either being modest, hiding this, or having an item of clothing on top of your head.
I think it was a great opportunity to explore some of the misconceptions people have about the headscarf or religious dress in general. So I found in the discussion groups there's some questions around what prejudices I've faced, why I continue to wear it, is it an element of free choice, what religion has to do with it. So some really great discussions, and it provided a great opportunity to explore some of those important issues.
I feel the more people share and dialogue and listen to one another, the more some of these prejudices that we have, and everyone has those, are broken down. You know, so there's needing to be a lot more of these events.